Triple E EDC back again with another knife video. This is a first impressions video of the Kershaw Bareknuckle. Now, this is an upgraded version in 20CV. I think the normal version comes in 14C28N, which is a Sandvik steel, really good Sandvik steel for being a budget steel, but it is a budget steel nonetheless. This, on the other hand, is CPM 20CV, and with Kershaw's on sale, they had been on sale through the month of March. And I think this particular version is still on sale at a couple of retailers. And so this can be had, I think this one might be a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. If not, it might be on a couple other retailers, but Smoky Mountain Knife Works does have it right now for, I think about $77 or $80, something like that. So this is really a steal. It's normally about $100 or $100 plus dollars for the upgraded version. And this is also a really, really nice knife for the most part. However, there are a couple of things that I do want to point out, and this is a first impressions video, so obviously there's no long carry on it, but I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a couple first impressions. So first, right off the bat, I do like the looks of this. This does speak to me in a way. However, it is a little odd at some turns. One of the ways it's odd is that the pivot here, as you can see in the middle, has this well, it's a T8 pivot, I believe, but it has this milling on the sides of the pivot that just is interesting. I'm not sure if that's meant to catch another tool there, or if it's just decorative, but it is interesting nonetheless. The size of this, what it packs into the size, is actually really interesting as well. Just some things I wanted to point out on it is it's actually about the same size as a Spyderco Shaman. That being said, the blade, the usable blade edge on it is actually much larger than a Shaman. So, you know, you get that in about the same package, and that has a lot to do with the finger choil that the Shaman has. But also, in the pocket, this fits well within the Shaman. So you can see it definitely saves you lots of space in the pocket, although the Shaman is a big knife in the pocket. Another interesting size comparison here would have to be the Presidio 2. It's about the same size as well, and you know, it's a little bit shorter overall, but pretty much the same size with the blades. Let's see if I can line this up. Yeah, just slightly shorter in the blades and slightly shorter in the handle, but again, much smaller, fitting inside the profile of the knife. All right, so first impressions, like I said, the couple of things I like about it are the way it looks. The fact that it's a Subframe Lock is interesting to me as a knife enthusiast, knife collector. The difference between a Subframe Lock and a frame lock is, this is a Chris Reeve in Cozy. This is a frame lock, as you can see. The lock on it, the lock bar, is part of the actual frame itself, and it's milled out of the frame. And there's a relief cut in here to allow it to give you that lockup that that stops the knife from closing. And then you just, you know, push that over, obviously, to pull that away. Most knife people don't need that explanation, but I figured I'd just break it down a little bit. This subframe lock is actually, if you look in here, it's a separate piece. This is all a separate piece that's held in over here, and it goes into the lock, almost like a liner lock, but it's part of the frame itself, but it's drilled into the frame, and there's no scale here covering where the liner lock would be. An example of that would be the Rat 2, the Ontario Rat 1, where you've got the scale here covering up where the liner lock is. It's almost like it's a thicker liner lock without the actual scale here. So it's an interesting design. One other thing that I really like about this is the clip. You can see the clip here. This is a Kershaw deep carry clip. One of my favorite clips on the market is the mini deep carry clip that came out when the Bugout came out. It's now on several of Knives and Benchmade's lineup, but this is one of my favorite clips, and it's really executed pretty perfectly by Benchmade. However, and this does work very well in and out of the pocket, but I do have one criticism right off the bat, is it feels a little too stiff, very, very stiff. And that isn't helped by the fact that there's this relief cut, you know, in here. Obviously it's reversible, but there's this relief cut in here for where the clip should go. And so that gives you a little resistance. You get that loud clink of the metal when you pull it out of your pocket, and the clip itself snaps back against the body. You get that snap sound, which, you know, isn't pleasant because everyone knows exactly when you're drawing your knife. But that being said, the clip works very, very well. You can loosen up the tension probably by pulling this back a little bit, but I'm not going to do that to this, and I have a reason for that, which might become apparent in a later video. But overall, it's a pretty good version of the deep carry clip. As you can see, the screws are raised here. I would prefer if they weren't raised, but if they were countersunk into the scale itself, but that's okay. What I don't like about the clip, though, is the fact that it has the Kershaw brand name right there. Clips don't need to do that. Benchmade doesn't do that on their mini deep carry clip. I know they do that on some of their other clips, but you know, like this clip doesn't have that either. Their larger clip has the word Benchmade on it, but that's an older clip that you don't see on a ton of models anymore. So they've pretty much done away with it. I think one of their deep carry clips, or their deep carry clips in general, have just a butterfly, which is fine. It's a small logo, but this is, you know, this is the word. This is telling everyone that you are carrying a Kershaw. So don't love that. All right, blade shape is interesting. Blade shape on here is kind of like not a lot of other knives that I have. I'll give you an example. This is a spear point, TRM Atom. You can see it's a little bit like a spear point almost, but it's not quite because it has that curvature. So it's like a cross between a spear point and a sheep's foot. Here it is against the drop point blade. You can see it has sort of this, where it's almost an S, you know, a small S curve. Here's another spear point. And let's go ahead and do it against the Shaman just so you see. So it does have an interesting blade shape. Not sure how I feel about that, but overall, it does feel good in hand, and it does a good job cutting. So that's definitely something I like. Now this is on bearings, which is also something I really like. However, the action out of the box is a little stiff. I'm going to be working on that. I'll probably disassemble this and try to lube it up and see if it can improve the action. But I wasn't, you know, one of the reasons I got this knife was I was expecting it to be a lot nicer action than it was out of the box, since one of the main selling points on this is the fact that it has bearings. So, you know, that's obviously a misstep, I think, at least in the quality control for this knife, because I have seen other YouTube reviewers on it who have a good action on this knife. Another thing that I think is important to point out on this knife is the flipper tab. The way it's designed and combined with the detent is extremely stiff on this. And the way that it's designed, I really have to think about flipping this down. Otherwise, you know, it's very easy to fall off when you're, you know, reaching up to do this, to just fall off the flipper tab and not actually deploy the knife. So the stiff detent combined with the shape of the flipper tab, you know, is an issue. There is some, you know, functional jimping on it, but it just doesn't help with the stiff detent to get the knife deployed. So that's definitely a drawback as well. Ergonomics on this, I think, are really good. Here, here, and here. That feels great. Here, though, I think is a miss for me. It feels too thin in this dimension right here, and it feels like something is missing over here, and especially on a knife this big. I just, you know, I'm used to knives that have a fuller, you know, hand imprint when they're this big, and so, you know, you're used to that that big backside of the scale in your hand there. Same would be true for this knife. Same would be true for this knife. You know, same would be true for this knife. You get you know, even here where it's skinnier, that's skinnier than some of the others, you can see where it's still very skinny in some of the dimensions on the bare knuckle. So just something to think about there. Overall, though, I think this is a pretty good offering from Kershaw, especially at the price that it is, and especially considering now at the sale price, you're getting 20 CV for about $80, and I don't know another brand that's doing that right now. So kudos to Kershaw on that. That's not the only thing that's out in 20 CV right now. They've got the Kershaw Link on sale in 20 CV. You can find that in some places for about $70, especially if you have some discount codes. Watch Slicey Dicey or I think Zach's stuff on YouTube also have discount codes to places like Southern Edge Knife Works, I think is the place that it's called. And, you know, use their codes and you can get you know, I think about 15% off. So that's a great thing to have in mind also. I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep this too long. It is a first impressions video, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of, you know, what the bare knuckle has to offer, some of its strengths, some of its weaknesses. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, one more thing. I'm about 2 subscribers away from reaching 1,000. Once I reach 1,000, as soon as possible, I'll get out a video to you guys where I'm going to do a very nice giveaway. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the like button and leave a comment on the video. Let me know how you like the channel. Thanks so much.